Good morning. So I decided to do this as I was already halfway through it and I can't quite figure out how to get the camera so you can see me and the food. But it occurred to me as I started this, we've talked about food, we've talked about this recipe before. And while I'm doing it, I might as well show you what I'm doing and how flippin' easy it is, you guys. So mushrooms, I grabbed some mushrooms. This is all about protein and like building your immunity. Breakfast. Okay, the vitamin D in the mushrooms is huge right now. Spinach, you got your iron. This is all pre-washed, you guys, like super simple. I did a little avocado oil, sliced the mushrooms in. Now, for those of you who've never cooked fresh spinach, you put like a truckload in there to get like this much. But it's worth the investment from a nutrition standpoint, and I just love spinach. So there's that. Then you stir it around for a little bit. Oh, and hey, while we're doing tips and tricks, here's one of my favorite clothespins before we throw this guy back in the fridge. With the mushrooms as the pineapple falls out on my feet. Okay, so I like to use tongs to toss this around, just because then I can actually flip it and keep it going. The mushrooms are going to take the longest to soften up. Now, I like garlic in everything. So, oops, not that much garlic. Sprinkle a little garlic in. Stir it around. I also love tomatoes in like a whole ton of things. So slice these guys up and toss them in. When I decided to do this, I was like, ooh, I better make sure I got all my stuff together. That's harder than it looks. I'm like, kudos to the people who do this all the time. Alright, so heat's a little high, turn it down. Now, I haven't eaten today. I like to intermittent fast. I really feel super great when I do that. It's not like a fast way to drop pounds or any of that crap. It's about just kind of like burning up the food that you just used, and I really do feel sharp with that. So I stick to 12 hours. And then if I end up going longer, I go longer. If I need to eat sooner, I eat sooner. I mean, I don't make myself crazy with it, but I'm a fan of the at least the 12-hour mark. So Tucker and I ate like an early dinner yesterday, and it was kind of a big dinner for me these days, which I never thought I would say. Big, I never thought anything would be big for me. I love food. But we ate about 4 o'clock. And I was putting hungry before I took him to school. So I'm back. This is like work from the house day. So I'm back to do paperwork and some blog work. And I hadn't planned to do video work, but apparently video work. And it's time to eat. It is 10 o'clock. And I'm just now getting hungry. And so the food always tastes better to me when I've let it go a little bit. So I'm the queen of the eggs. I did splurge and spend a little extra on organic and cage-free. Got the compost bucket going over there. I just emptied my compost bucket. I try not to let that get too full, but it's really crazy how like heavy the composter has gotten. I'm gonna have to empty it soon enough, so maybe I'll dazzle you with some footage of what that looks like, because that's gonna be interesting. But I also have some onions in the pantry that have started to sprout. I don't do that very often, but when it happens, I'm like, gosh, just stick that in the ground. I'm not ready for that yet, but maybe now's the time to start. So anyway, I just cracked 5 eggs. Like I will sometimes do 5 eggs, but with this many vegetables, I've just basically got running my mouth and wasn't paying attention. I probably would have done more like 3 or 4. I scramble it up. Pretty sure y'all have done that a time or 12. Now, I like to do it a couple of different ways. I think today I'm going to take the vegetables out first. And then just scramble the eggs in. And put them together that way. But you can also dump the eggs right in and cook it all together. You can make an omelet and fold these in. Now, y'all know that I'm like, put me in the hospital level of allergic to dairy. So, you know, here again, There's no butter in here. It's avocado oil, but the avocado oil has a little bit of a buttery flavor to me, so I don't miss it. I mean, that took some getting used to, and I went through a little drama from feeling sorry for myself standpoint, but now that I don't do it anymore, the trade-off of how much better I feel, I don't miss it. I mean, I get a little wistful sometimes for pizza, but even that I'm kind of figuring out. So anyway, toss this in the pan. If you need a little more avocado oil, so be it. Better safe than sorry, especially when you're filming. And then I put my egg in. Now, there's all kinds of yummy stuff y'all know you can do with eggs. And I think we forget how creative we can be with eggs. 9 out of 10 people, I think, would throw cheese in here. And I'm not going to pick on y'all for not, giving up cheese. I don't do dairy. I just said why. But even if I didn't have the allergy, knowing now what I feel and believe about the whole paleo lifestyle, I don't encourage dairy. You guys that have read my book know that I don't deny Tucker dairy for a couple of different reasons. I think there's merit to dairy. I think everybody has to figure some of this out for themselves. Well, not some of it, all of it out for themselves. But when you can't do it, it's a simple answer. So no cheese for me. But one of the things that I do use is called nutritional yeast. And I have a friend who was like, it needs a new name. So clearly agreed, it's not a glamorous name. And I'm not into substituting and trying to convince myself that I have the real thing. This will never be cheese for me, okay? But it's an umami flavor, so it gives you that something extra flavor-wise, like that earthy, yummy, hard to define flavor that's just really nice to have in food sometimes. So I will, especially since we're talking today, I'll throw some nutritional yeast on here. I don't not do salt. So Himalayan sea salt is my salt of choice these days. It's just a healthier alternative in my opinion, and you get a lot of vitamins and minerals in there too. So, when you're doing things like buying salt, I say look for the most unadulterated, any food, not just salt, the most unadulterated, I don't know, I have to Google it. Mama Stanley, help me out, whichever that is. Miss Carol, help me out. The least messed with, whatever it is your best investment from a nutrition standpoint. I mean, we take a lot of food as a culture and we process it and we bastardize it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on my own channel where I have the controls set really high, but we do bad things to it. So I try not to do that. So, all right, so I'll quit nattering. It has turned into an omelet versus scrambled eggs. It's all good in the end. I will sprinkle the nutritional yeast in here when it sets up a little bit, and or on the vegetables, throw it on the plate and I'm done. And I mean, it's just a really good protein-filled quantity. If you're a quantity person, and I tend to be kind of a quantity person. I like a lot of food. Quantity-oriented brunch. It's 10 o'clock. And, I don't not eat the rest of the day. That's the cool thing about eating real food. I don't have to worry about calories. I don't have to mess with anything else other than I would like to have my food consumption wrapped up by, at the very latest, 8 o'clock. And for me these days, I kind of tend to finish up around 4 or 6. I mean, just kind of depends on what's going on. I don't have a set anything these days because I really am realizing that the more I just go with the flow, the easier it all is. So there's my food speech of the day. You guys know if you have any questions, I'm always happy to answer them. I love that so many of you have private messaged and said that you're doing things with your food, and I don't know, I love the communication of it all, you guys. So have a good day. I'm gonna go eat, and I'll talk to you soon.